Emotional intelligence is a term that we've been using for the last few years now. It's become very popular through the work of Daniel Goleman in particular. Daniel Goleman is famous for saying more important than any other factor, more important than our IQ, more important than our education, our ability to manage our emotions and to work with emotions, our emotional intelligence, in other words, is the most important factor in terms of our ability to lead and work with other people. So this is something that we're going to be looking at today through a number of lenses. First of all, just looking at emotional intelligence. What is it? One of the factors that we look at with emotional intelligence, the first factor, is self-awareness. How do we get to know our emotional life, and how do we recognize some of the trends, some of the habits we have, and some of the moments when we may be triggered by a certain emotional situation, and how that can really impact us, say, in falling into a rage. Why did this happen? Oh, let's try and understand what's going on for us emotionally in terms of our self-awareness. The second factor of emotional intelligence is self-management. Once we get to know our emotions, we have to then start to look at what are some ways we can adapt to these emotions. For instance, what's the emotional geography of ourselves? What are some moments where we tend to get unexplainably sad or unexplainably angry at certain situations? So once we can start to recognize these components and habits and conditionings that we have, we can start to work with that emotion. The analogy we often look at is if there was a rider on top of an elephant. The elephant is so much more strong than the rider is, but the rider knows how to manage that elephant. In the same way, we have to work with our emotions. Our emotions are very powerful forces in our lives. Often people say, how is it that I fell into this situation again? Or how is it that I'm doing this thing that I know I don't want to do? Because our emotions are processing huge amounts of information, we have to learn how to work with that great force that's in our lives. Social awareness is recognizing that other people have emotions. And through empathy, we can start to recognize what is going on in the inner lives of other people. And recognizing that they may have some emotions that are the same as ours, but also that other people have different emotions as well. So recognizing patterns with them, looking at how other people are affected by our emotions and we by their emotions and so forth. That's around this idea of awareness, of social awareness of emotions. And then, of course, the final part, looking at relationship management, looks at the idea that through empathy, we have to start moving to our ability to not only manage our own emotions, but to manage the greater social and the greater emotional situation working with other people. Our limbic system, the part of our brain that recognizes and works with emotions, our limbic system is an open system. Two people sitting with each other over time will start to fall into a mirroring pattern where they share an emotional state between themselves. So if I am going to manage a situation working with other people, I have to look at how not only I manage my emotions, but how our emotions together need to be managed.